We've all experienced shame, no matter if you believe in Jesus or you don't. And you maybe couldn't put the exact word to what you were feeling, but all of us in every walk of life have experienced shame. When I was 3 or 4 years old, my parents had me in a daycare, church, school, all in one. And there was a boy that was there that I guess saw his parents do this or something, but we're there one day and we're playing with our toys, and he came up and he kissed me. And at 3 years old, I was like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? Go away. But the amount of shame that little tiny experience, an innocent experience at 3 years old, the amount of shame that came from that in my life is crazy. And that's a story that is pretty fresh and new. I haven't told many people that story. I recently told my wife about it, and I said, babe, I've never told you this before, but this story has brought me so much shame, and I didn't know why. The thing about shame is that shame is not about an action. It's not about a decision that you made that was a poor decision. You can be ashamed of something that you've done, but shame speaks to who you are. See, in Genesis chapter 1, the Bible tells the story of the creation account where Adam and Eve rebelled against God, and the Bible says that they saw themselves. Their eyes were open to themselves. It doesn't say that they saw what they did wrong. It says that they saw themselves. That means at the moment that sin entered our world, our eyes became open to ourselves and our hearts became filled with shame, no matter where you are. Shame doesn't just say, I did wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. I'm fundamentally broken. I'm flawed to the greatest degree. I am a screw up and a reject. That's what shame says. And that shame that we feel, it causes us to run and hide from our loved ones, from God, from ourselves. It's all because of shame. And we hear these phrases in our heads over and over again of you're not worthy, or you're not good enough, or you'll never be good enough. And we hear these phrases, but the problem is that we think that the way to fight shame is to prove that we are worthy, or to prove that we are good enough. And the fact of the matter is that those thoughts that are on repeat in our minds at times, it's simply bait that the enemy is placing before you. If he can get you to try to prove within your own power that you are worthy, or that you are good enough, or that you're not as broken as you think, then he'll keep you on this perpetual cycle of shame. And you'll never get off. He wants to do everything he can to keep you bound up in that shame that causes you to run and hide. The thing that I want you to get today is that shame in your life that you feel, the only way that you'll ever find yourself walking in freedom from it is to realize that there's one person that bore your sin and swallowed up your shame. The good news is that when we hear those phrases of I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough, I wish that we had the courage and the strength to say you're right. I'm not. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I am broken. I wish we had the ability to say that. Because I think the moment that we find that ability to say, you're right, I am all of those things, it's that moment where the gospel and the good news of Jesus becomes real to us. Because before that moment, we don't think we need it. The good news of Jesus is that he came for broken people. He came for unworthy people, not people that were so close and just kind of off, but people who weren't even remotely close. He came for sinners, and it didn't even make sense that he died for them. If you feel shame or you feel unworthy or not good enough, man, accept it. Because he came for you. He came for me. He bore our sin, swallowed up our shame, so that with him, we don't have to run and hide anymore. We don't have to be afraid. But The Bible says that we can walk boldly and approach the throne of grace as sons and daughters. Today, if you're feeling shame, I want to tell you, the way that you find yourself walking in that freedom and that new way of living is not to try to prove that you are worthy or to prove that you are good enough. It's to trust that He has paid it all for you. He swallowed up your shame. And now you get to discover who you are and walk in freedom today.